All right. Welcome, everyone, to a special Strictly MLB podcast. We've only done one of these before. We brought it back to preview the playoffs. I've got some great co-hosts here with me. First, let's talk to Max, who is our beloved Strickland baseball enjoyer. Max, how's it going, bud?
It's good. I've had some more days than y'all combined probably to enjoy my team being in the playoffs. So it's still not really hit me though, that playoff baseball's happening, but tomorrow is going to be exciting.
Yeah, we made it. Somehow the season felt like it was never going to end, especially for me and for another Mets fan like Tyrese, who's also here. What's up, Reese?
So how's it going? Yeah, it was a drag to get to this point.
Yeah.
Especially like the last 2 weeks of the season, where it was like, is Lindor dead? Oh, he's not dead. And then the Brave series losing the first game, and then the game, and then everything being postponed, going to the Brewers, getting whopped by the Brewers, winning that last game 5-0 to at least create this opportunity, so that way we have to win one, and then the game today. So.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I really didn't think we'd end up in the scenario where the Mets and Braves each had to win one today to get in. It felt like the least likely scenario, but all the eggs kind of fell perfectly for it to happen. So, made for a kind of funny game too this evening, Mets Braves, because the Mets were very clearly not trying even a little bit, and the Braves still almost didn't win.
Joey Lucchesi threw a gem.
Yeah.
Funny.
Joey Lucchesi, who's been who was a 4.7 ERA in AAA this year, and I'm pretty sure at one point in July got sent down to Single A as a punishment because they were pissed at him for some reason.
I think so. Yeah.
Came up for game 162 and threw six really good innings against the Braves team who needed to win. And if the Mets were not swinging at every pitch they saw, no matter where it was, then the Mets might have actually won that game. But they had just wanted to get on the plane to Milwaukee, and I don't blame them. So we got both New York teams in the playoffs. It's awesome. I got to say, I thought for a long time this was going to happen. And then there was a 2-day period here where I thought it wasn't going to happen. And it was pretty nice. Chris Bernhardt just commented Demons in Atlanta exercise, and that's the vibe today. They finally did it.
They lost the series, but they finally did it.
I don't care that they lost the series.
I honestly don't care.
They finally fucking did it. It's unbelievable. I really didn't think they were going to. I just felt like once they had to win one, I don't know. There was definitely part of me that thought maybe this would not happen. But they exercised their demons. They pulled it off. Before we get into it a little more, let's do some housekeeping here. Like I said, this is our special Strictly MLB playoff preview. But if you like what you're hearing, if you like the Strickland, just remember we do have a Patreon page that you can join. A number of tiers for whatever you're willing to pay us. We're happy to take any amount that you'd love to contribute. The $6 tier, I hope I'm not getting this wrong because I've never had to do this, gets you access to the Friday Pod Strickland. Only a preview of that goes up if you're not a member. So you get the full Friday Pod Strickland with Schwinn and Prez, as well as the podcast Takes from Obvious Bozos with Zach Blatter and Dougie Drew. Then there are higher tiers. There's a $9 tier, which gets you access to Schwinn's special podcast, Stricken Roll, where he brings up special guests, and talks Knicks, talks other topics with them. It's it's really just unfiltered Schwinn, which I'm sure everyone enjoys. It gets you special articles from Matthew Miranda, who is, I think we can all agree, the best basketball writer on the internet. So, if you want access to those, $9. There are some higher tiers. There's a $15 tier, a $30 tier, and then if you just want to throw away money, please, we'll take it. $50 and $100 tiers, we will. If that's what you want to do with your $50 and $100, we would happily accept. But any amount of money that you're willing to give is much appreciated. So again, that's the Patreon, patreon.com/the Strickland to check that out. All right, so let's get into it. Why don't we start with the big story of the day is obviously that the Mets, game 161, they had the doubleheader in Atlanta. They had to win one game, and it was maybe, I don't know, Max, where would you rank this off the top of your head among, given context, best games in MLB history?
History is a stretch just because
Regular
I don't
season,
want to sound too nerdy because before like the divisional era and like the pennant and like you had basically, if you won the regular season champions, the Leech League would just go to the World Series. But I'm like, that was just personally, that was great. I saw Omar's comment. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. That's why we're not
gonna be a long night for me.
We will.
But
in
terms of like just personal enjoyment, like even including Yankee games, like I like just felt like the atmosphere was just unbelievable. The going back and forth. Like I was like at one point I was like, oh, like like Miguel deserves better than this just because. He was shoving. Like, it was like 5 1/3, 3 runs. Yeah. Like, that's exactly like from like your like 4/5 starter, whatever you want to call him. Like he was perfect. And then obviously, Joe Jimenez, who had been absolutely untouchable like in the month of September.
I don't think he gave up a run in September until today.
He had given up 3 hits in all of September until today.
That's
he gave
insane.
up 3 hits without the 3 batters.
Yeah.
And then obviously, against Iglesias won the battle against the other Iglesias. And so that was, that just, you knew at that point they were going to take the lead. I don't know. It was just, I as a Yankee fan in the 9th inning, when I knew Lindor's ball was going over the wall, I let out like a yell, like I was a Mets diehard my entire life.
Yeah.
It was just so cool.
It's honestly, there's part of me, given how badly the league and the Braves, and look, I'll put a little bit of blame on the Mets, although I think they're the least deserving of blame of the 3 entities here. Fuck this up. It's almost like kind of a bummer that they ended up getting such a good game out of it, because like now they're gonna be like, wow, this is amazing. We want this to happen every year. They had the whole country watching this game, and it's like, again, okay, so let's put aside history. You're right. Let's say regular season. Wild card era, so that's the past 30 years. Like, it probably isn't number 1, but there aren't many ahead of this. Just for like, it's 3-0. It feels like the most boring game in the world. The Braves are just going to cruise to a win. The Mets aren't hitting. And then Tyrone Taylor, who was the only person who was squaring up Schwellenbach all day, which is pretty funny because it's Tyrone Taylor in a lineup with Francisco Lindor and Brandon Nimmo. And, even though they're slumping JD Martinez and Pete Alonso, like that, Tyrone Taylor is the guy squaring up Schwellenbach. He comes out, Schwellenbach, and I was just like, I think they got it. I really think they're going to pull it off, because they can't hit Schwellenbach. But the Braves bullpen, Jimenez and Iglesias have been amazing, but other than those 2, the Braves bullpen's kind of not great. So I was feeling confident that if they could, somehow just string some hits together, they might have it. And even putting Lindor in the 9th aside, getting Schwellenbach out of the game, I think, just woke them up, and then they're just hit after hit after that. It was unbelievable. Nimmo's home run, I actually laughed so loud that I feel like everyone in my apartment building must have thought I was a lunatic, because I'm just laughing at 3:30, for no reason. So what a game! Holy shit. Tyrese, what were you thinking when Edwin Diaz didn't cover first base though?
I was pissed. I legitimately thought they lost the game. I was like, okay, the game's over because Edwin Diaz didn't cover first base, and I legitimately thought they basically just blew it. Like, that would have been 2022, but worse. Like, you have to think about that's like an all-time Mets collapse if they don't come out with that 9th inning, because the fact that you could have potentially won the game, or at least increased your odds significantly if Edwin Diaz covers first base. And instead, you're looking like a do or die game 162. Yeah, it was. I'm very glad Lindor hit that homer, because if Edwin Diaz did not cover that base, and up and down years he's had, given the injuries and such. Like, if that was the final moment of the year, then like I don't know.
I don't know how. I hadn't thought ahead yet, but in my mind, if they lose game 1, I don't know if they win game 2. I mean,
No, they would have been tilted.
Even without Sale, like I don't know. I don't know if they could do it. And Lindor just every time. I mean, look, he's obviously not going to win MVP. He shouldn't win MVP. Ohtani went what was it, Max? 54 ultimately. And
I mean, it was like 50, 54, like 60. Well, it was yeah.
I mean, it's just unfortunate. Like, you can get it. Like, I do think there's the argument as to like a DH shouldn't win MVP is like, there's some weight to it, but I mean, he was just too good. He has to win. Lindor doesn't deserve it over him, but like, I mean, I will say
he had his MVP moment.
Ohtani didn't have a clutch moment like that all year. I mean, that was like the spot. Lindor, your guy is up, and he did it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Like, that shit doesn't happen. The amount of pressure that he was under, and he just, I don't know. And it's funny because Gary Cohn didn't think that ball was going out. Like, that's you so rarely get it, but you do get a double out of here from Gary in like huge moments like that. And that's an obvious double out of here moment. And he thought that ball was getting caught at the wall by Michael Harris. So he was just shocked when it went over.
Well, Lindor's his like reaction, I couldn't tell if it was because like his back was like absolutely crushing him or not, but like he looked like he popped it up. Like his reaction told me he like popped it up.
He didn't think he. I don't think he thought he got it. I don't think he thought he got it either. And then it's funny because I don't know if you saw post game. They asked him what he was thinking, and he was like, "My back is killing me." As he was running around the stage. Yeah. Oh my god, it's just.
But
unbelievable.
Where if they would have lost that game, I know Reese is a little you're a little younger, but in terms of like 2015, would that loss have been worse than the meltdown in 2015?
Yes.
The meltdown. Wait.
The Harvey meltdown.
Wait, 2015 they made the World Series. What are you talking about?
Not 2015. 2000. What was it?
2007.
7.
What was the one where the division race? Or they just
7.
7, not 2015.
That was when the Phillies came back from
down
7.
Yeah, that's down 7 with 17 to play.
This isn't worse than that. I mean, here's the thing. Like, it would have, the way it happened would have been the most miserable probably. Like, if you look at 2007, even 2022, because like they just totally lost the juice when they lost the division.
But they still won.
They still made the playoffs,
and they won 100 games.
They just like sleptwalked through the whole Padres series after that. Obviously, I mean, 2008 was a collapse, but not to the magnitude of 2007. But I don't think this is worse than 2007, even with Diaz not covering first base. They lost that game and then lost the second game because they were just like, too fucked up by losing the first game. I can't say that it's worse.
Like, it's either the worst moment since the 2016 wild card or Matt Harvey in 2015. Like,
yeah, but I mean, like 2015, it's like the actual culprit there was Jeurys Familia quit pitching. What's his name? Alex, who's the third baseman for the Royals? Alex
Gordon,
thank you.
Well, he played left field
at the end of game 1, and it's just like that killed. They lost game 1, and I mean, in retrospect, that series was over when they lost game 1 because they had the Royals on the ropes from the beginning, and Familia fucked it up. But anyway,
wasn't that game 1 started with the inside the park homer, right?
Yeah, game 1 started with the Escobar inside the park homer, and then Noah Syndergaard threatening to hit him, and he and then he.
Good times.
Or no, that must have been game 3 because Syndergaard pitched game 3.
Did the World Series not begin with a leadoff homer?
I'm so confused.
I don't remember. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But anyway, we don't need to rehash too much of 2015. I think I think it would have been awful, but I kind of feel like you can't really say that it would have been worse than 2007, just because like this team was not supposed to be good. They got in it, and like once you're in it, you got to make it. So not making it would have been rough, but ultimately, like I don't know, just the expectation level is so different coming off 2006 versus coming off 2023, so different. So I don't think it'd be worse. But Anyway, so all right, Reese, what about Lindor home run for you? How are you feeling?
I literally yelled across my house. I thought they were done. I legitimately thought they were done. They looked done. But then Starling Marte, God bless his soul, gets a single, and I was like, oh, there's a chance. And personally, I was like, if we're going to be done, like, I hope Lindor gets a base hit and he steals a base so that way we get 30-30. I was rooting for Lindor at that point. So when he cranks the homer, I was like, okay, so they're going to win the game. So I felt confident until Diaz came back in for the ninth. And then I was like, oh, shit, if they're going to lose this game again, I'll be heated. So there was a range of emotions, but they did it. Lindor had that moment. And just to see the dugout just embrace him the way that they did, like Starling Marte's picking him up and hugging him. Acuna's like holding him and crying. Like, he's a goddamn superhero for that team.
Yeah.
Like, he is that team. He's the heartbeat of that team. He is the guy in that team. And the fact that he had that moment, like, you couldn't have anybody else do it. Like, it just is so poetic that Lindor is the reason the team gets to the postseason.
Yeah, no, you're right. It had to be. It's funny because when Iglesias came up, when they were down, and they could take the lead on when Iglesias was up, rather, or I think they were down 3-2, so they could tie it, and they tied it when he came up. I was thinking to myself, like, and I think I even said this in chat, like, it's got to be. Of course, it has to be Iglesias with the way this weird season's gone, but it did have to be Lindor ultimately. Like, it really did have to be Lindor. I mean, this is his team. It was his season. And it probably couldn't happen any other way, even though it was so stressful. But game 2, then who cares? They just kind of swung at every pitch they got and couldn't wait to get out of there. And it was pretty fun.
When like Brandon Nimmo is not running first, that's when you can kind of tell he wanted to go home.
Yeah. Well, there's also I was listening to it on the radio at this point, but near the beginning of the game, there was also like a ball that Nimmo clearly could have caught and just dropped right in front of him. And he was just like, "Yeah, fuck you, Lucchesi. I don't care. I'm not going to die for this shit."
They were so over it.
Yeah.
Like Francisco Alvarez eating popcorn on the bench.
Oh, that was amazing. That's just
that's like the Tyler McGill.
You said Alvarez doesn't have the aura, but like that shit, he's eating popcorn on the bench after they clinch. You have to admit.
Okay, but like he doesn't have aura. He's just like a dork, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Lindor's aura.
Well, of course, yeah, but I mean,
like that's
so much confidence.
The problem is like this team outside of the North is kind of mid, so like it's just kind of hard to have aura.
Yeah. Second best OPS on the team is actually I think he dropped behind Vientos, but it was Iglesias until today. I think he dropped behind Vientos today, which is pretty insane.
Dude, the WAR this team is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jose Iglesias is fourth, and he was a part-time player until the last month of the season.
Yeah, insane. All right, let's take a break from the Mets here. We talked Mets for a while. We'll come back to them, but Yankees fans have a lot of thoughts. Obviously, the Yankees, they got the bye, they got the number 1 seed, home field advantage. How you feeling, Max, going into the playoffs for the Yankees?
I mean, I feel all right. Like, it's nothing. I'm not like excited as I was probably prior to that Baltimore series. The Baltimore series kind of sucked a little out of me, just seeing the offense, flail around a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like Judge, after the slow start in September, end of August, has refound his swing. Glaber's on fire. Soto, obviously. Yeah, I mean it's the bullpen. I think outside of Clay Holmes is pretty strong. People aren't going to admit that, but
I mean, their closer being the guy who's not strong is kind of a problem.
Well, their closer right now is the guy who's my profile picture on here, Luke Weaver. But yeah, I mean their rotation. I mean, I trust Cole. I know some people don't trust Cole, but
yeah,
Cole
actually, to that point, here's Vivek. Will Garrett Cole show up? So go ahead.
I think he will. Like it's really like I mean, and this is like really dumb to do because like if you take out the bad starts, like you'll have good, but outside of his starts against Boston and your Mets this year, he's been virtually like perfect.
His ERA is like a run higher just because of the Mets.
It's like a run and a half higher because of the Red
Yeah.
Sox and Mets. It's
crazy.
nuts.
Yeah.
But good news is, he won't face the Red Sox at all in the postseason, and maybe he does face the Mets. So it's
I mean, let's be honest. Like he's probably not facing the Mets either.
No, it's probably wouldn't be good for baseball. I mean, it would be good for baseball. We're saying
It'd be great for baseball.
Like that produced great ratings in 2000. So
yeah.
But no, I believe in Cole. He's his fastball is a couple ticks lower than it has been, but he shoved against Baltimore. He shoved against Oakland the other day. Yeah, I feel good. I feel fine about the team. I feel like Schmidt will be fine. He obviously wasn't great against Pittsburgh in his last start of the year, but I think he's been great this year. He's probably the 3. Rodon's been encouraging this year, which isn't the word you want to use about a guy you paid 150 plus million to, but yeah, and then they'll have Heel out of the bullpen probably in the DS. Stroman hopefully doesn't touch the field.
Yeah, I mean I don't think you want him out there. He's not going to be. He's not going to be on the ALDS roster, right? I can't imagine he will be.
I mean, you have to now with Nestor being hurt. Nestor being hurt is such a huge blow because he would have been basically. I would have started him over Heel in like a game 4, honestly.
Right. So who would you go 1 to 4? I mean, usually like sometimes teams go 3 in the DS, but like most teams go 4 deep.
I think they'll go 3 though. I think they'll go 3 because
So
of how the off days work. I think they would go Cole because they'd have Cole on regular rest in game 4.
Okay.
So I think you go Cole, Rodon, Schmidt, Rodon.
Rodon would be coming back on regular rest, or would he be pitching on short rest?
Let me check again because they change up the format, like the format.
I know they change it every year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, while you're looking that up, here are Omar's thoughts on things. Got out Francisco Lindor. I wish we had him over that bum Volpe. That's right. You don't. If only. Yep. I mean, not really. I'm glad the Mets have Lindor, not the Yankees.
Rodon would be on regular rest for a game 5 start, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But I would be so frightened to have him pitching in a game 5.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
Like I don't. He's a dude I don't have that much trust in if our back's against the wall.
But I mean, your other option is running Stroman out there in game 4 so you can get Cole back for game 5. Like you don't want to do that either. You gotta just hope you win in 4. I think.
I think the Yankees would start Weaver before that, just because the guy could throw you 2 innings and then bullpen it. Yeah. But no, it would have to be Rodon, obviously. But I mean, it's better than like what Atlanta's about to do. They might start Ian Anderson in game 1, which is hilarious. It's not 2021.
He hasn't been in the majors in 2 years.
It's nuts. I don't envy that situation. They deserve it.
Yeah, exactly. They deserve it.
They deserve it.
Absolutely. I'm a Braves hater till the day I die. I had to grow up in Atlanta and had to deal with Braves fans hating Yankees fans because of the 90s. Like I have no sympathy for them.
No, I mean 100%.
The double header shit, like I do not care. This is what they deserve.
Honestly, though, it should also the fact that Cole. It's just I feel bad. Whatever, I feel a little bad for Cole, but like I mean Cole, damn it, Sale, sorry. But it's just so funny that they were lying all week about starting him against the Mets in game 2 if they needed to, and then like clearly they were just totally banking on winning game 1 because they didn't have Sale for game 2, and the second game 1 is over. They're like, oh fuck yeah, Sale's actually injured and can't pitch game 2, so bullpen game. That was just, I mean, it's really too bad. I don't blame the Mets for not trying. It's too bad the Mets couldn't win. It would have been. First of all, I don't know how you feel, Tyrese, but I actually kind of was hoping the Mets would go to San Diego.
Nah.
They played.
That's a tough trip.
After 2022, nah.
It's just the Brewer, but revenge would have been so good.
Yeah, but I don't
have such bad luck in Milwaukee. Like over the last couple
That's
of
what
years.
I'm saying. I don't want to go back.
I know, but at the same time, I'm also just kind of like, I don't care. I didn't care who we played. I just wanted to make it. Like as long as we made it, like we can get swept. I don't care. Yeah. But if I were picking, I probably would have picked. I would have picked the Padres, but that trip is just rough.
I think any other team would pick the Brewers. It's just that the Brewers beat up the Mets this year, and I don't know. But I mean, look, it worked out for them to have Sevy going game 1. They're gonna have Manaea on full rest game 2, which is good because they were about to start Manaea on short rest tomorrow. And then probably Peterson game 3, and Peterson just shut down the Brewers. Not with
I think it'd be Quintana, wouldn't it?
No, God, I hope not. It's got to be Peterson. Got to be.
Is it? Peterson pitched Sunday, right?
Yeah, he could pitch Thursday.
Monday,
Tuesday,
yeah,
Wednesday. That's 1 day short.
Yeah, I think it'd be Quintana.
That would be Quintana. I don't know. Well, hopefully they win both first games because I don't want to see Quintana out there a second time in a week against the Brewers. That seems very risky.
I think Peterson's your best arm right now.
Yeah, but
I know that some of his.
But Reese is right. He'd be on short rest in game 3.
I don't think they would do him on short rest.
It's the playoffs, man.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. His first playoffs.
Never done it. He's never done it.
He's never done it. It's his first playoffs. He's a fit merchant. So.
Okay, I can get behind that because I hate fit merchants.
I enjoy the fact that he's been good this year, but he's absolutely a fit merchant. He's the biggest fit merchant in the league.
Peterson, it's like honestly, he's not as good as his numbers have been. But
by the way, speaking of making first postseason starts and stuff, y'all saw that Michael King is starting game 1 for the Padres, which is wild because I mean, I guess you can kind of call the Juan Soto the Padres Yankees trade kind of like a win-win. Like they got like their ace for the playoffs, and the Yankees got like a generational left-handed hitter.
Don't do it, Tyrese. Not right now.
No, don't do that to me. I know what Tyrese is thinking.
I can hear it.
I'll wait until after the season. Until after the season, I will withhold.
If the Yankees win the World Series, I don't care if he comes back. If we're being honest.
I mean, that's totally reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Brewers versus Padres, Chris Bernhard makes a good point, which is that Joe Musgrove is his sleep paralysis demon, and like I get it. I mean, Mr. Frickin',
wax ears.
Yeah, wax ears. Like I don't think I could handle facing him again. So
yeah, I just don't want that's just bad karma. I don't like that.
And look, the Padres are better than the Brewers. It is. You want to play the Brewers. It's just that the Brewers have been, and I guess honestly, we should probably put aside the series at Citi Field because the Mets were horrible at the beginning of the year. But I don't know. It is what it is. Neither matchup was great. I'd actually, honestly, I know this wasn't possible, but the Phillies are the team I'd probably want to play. Like the Mets have kind of had the Phillies number. If they
the Mets are on, I prefer it.
Yeah,
because I think the Dodgers are the weakest team, but like because their pitching is so bad, but it's also it's Ohtani, and I don't want to face Ohtani.
I feel like if I'm a wild card team, the teams that I want to play the most are the teams that have kind of been sleepwalking the second half of the season.
Brewers and Philly.
Like the Brewers have been basically sleepwalking since May or June.
Yeah,
they've had the division wrapped up for a while.
Yep.
So I mean, we've seen what's happened with the Dodgers over the last couple of years. It's like minus 21 when they actually had to play the Giant. They played the wild card game and then the Giants.
Exactly.
Now headed up by Buster Posey, which is hilarious. But
okay, actually, can we take 3 seconds to talk about that before we get back to the playoffs?
Yeah, let's do it.
Is that the most insane thing that's ever happened?
It's a complete 180 in the organization. They're going from a guy who's straight computers and numbers on paper to dude. I mean, maybe one of the better catchers of our generation.
Yeah, but he got rewarded with the POB. First of all, president of baseball operations, not even GM. They just straight up
he went straight up to the top.
It's the Magic Johnson thing.
Yeah, crazy. Because he negotiated a terrible contract for Matt Chapman. They were like, thanks so much, Buster. Here's the job.
Negotiate all
fine. I thought that contract was fine for both sides. It's Matt Chapman we're talking about here. We're not like Alex Bregman at his peak.
He could very easily I would want him for next year, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but it's also as long as that glove plays, it's fine.
I feel like his glove will play.
Yeah,
and he's gonna always. I mean, he has pretty good raw power, and he's gonna obviously San Fran isn't a place where you want to hit you can hit homers.
Yeah.
They obviously haven't had a 30 home run hitter since Bonds, but I mean he's still a good guy. He can still the gaps, the left center and right center gaps are big enough that he could be he was one of the better doubles hitters in baseball this year. Like, he
Yep.
can still he'll be fine. I think it's a
I
fine
think
deal.
yeah, it's a fine contract. I wanted him for the Mets.
Oh,
So-
for
I wanted
sure.
him for the Yankees.
I thought, honestly, what I wanted to do this offseason for the Mets before that contract was signed was obviously let Alonso walk out the door and sign Chapman to play third and move
Yep.
Bianco first. That's what I wanted to do. But,
Yep.
yeah, whatever. All right, so why don't we talk a little bit about the wild card matchups for a sec? Let's come to the Mets at the end here. Why don't we start? Let's start in the AL. Let's let Max talk a little bit about the teams that the Yankees might face. So
Yeah, I'll go for it.
The 4-5 matchup. The winner of that game will face the Yankees, or winner of that series rather. I apologize. Will face the Yankees, and that is the Astros. Or sorry, God damn it. Let's try this again. The Yankees will face the winner of the 4-5 matchup, which is Orioles-Royals. So, Max, how are you feeling? Which team would you rather face? How do you think it's going to go? Et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, it's tough because, you know, you have the Orioles who have definitely had the Yankees number this year, and I think that they had such a terrible second half, and then all of a sudden they came into the Bronx and took 2 or 3 and looked, levels ahead of the Yankees, and basically have in most of their matchups this season. So they do frighten me. Like Corbin Burns has dominated the Yankees this year, and he threw like 8 no-hit innings against them last year as well as a Brewer. I don't really know. Like Eflin's kind of been like stingy against the Yankees, but I really don't know who would pitch after those two. The Royals, they have Reagans, and lefties are kind of the Yankees' kryptonite. So he's frightening. Lugo's had one really bad start and one really good start against the Yankees.
Yeah, but also Lugo, he wasn't even a starter until last year. This is a lot of innings for him.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess that's true. But the Royals' offense is non-existent, so I do feel bad about that. Yeah. They're probably gonna get Vinny P back for the playoffs, but he hasn't played. He's not gonna be 100%. Yeah. Bobby Witt's obviously Bobby Witt, but he's been an 850 OPS guy since over his last 40 games or so.
Right.
And then everyone else has just been I think I looked at their September stats earlier, and I think they have one guy, and it's Witt, that's over 700 OPS for the month of September. They were the worst offensive baseball across the board in September.
I mean, look, the Orioles kind of got it back together. I am expecting a sweep there.
I'm expecting a sweep too. But it will be fun to see, even if it's just for 2 games, Gunnar versus Witt.
For sure.
It's the future of the shortstop class.
Yeah. Where's Colin to be cheering in the comments here? Too bad.
Gunnar, Witt, Volpe,
Yeah.
Volpe.
Right. All the best shortstops, Gunnar, Witt, and Volpe.
If Volpe was ever a league average hitter, he's
a great defensive shortstop.
He's basically just a dollar store version of a Dansby, which is not great, but
yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how much there's to say about that series. Honestly, I think we're going to get Yankees Orioles. I would be shocked if the Royals win. I'd be pretty surprised if the Royals even win a game, honestly, because they can't hit. And
no, they can't hit.
The Orioles have a great offense, and they have enough pitching. I kind of think Burns is not really an ace, to be honest.
Not an ace. I mean, he kind of retooled. He's been really good over the last month.
He has, but his underlying numbers are
I know he doesn't strike anyone out anymore.
He doesn't strike anyone out anymore. His movement on his pitches is kind of trending downward. Again, I don't want to keep him and try to play offseason shit, but I don't want the Mets to sign him at all. I don't. I think it's a really bad contract coming, and I will happily let whoever else wants it to do it. But I mean, look, he's good. When I say he's probably not an ace, I'm talking true top level number one. He's a fine number one for a mediocre staff, but you probably don't want him as your number one in every playoff series,
Yeah.
I mean, I slightly disagree, and I'm a Burns hater, just because I believe his cutter has kind of gotten back to what it was. It's not getting whiffs. That's the issue. I mean, it did against the Yankees. That's why I'm afraid of him. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Yeah,
So
I
what do
agree.
you?
I think it's a sweep there.
Yeah, sweet. What do you think, Reese? I don't know if you have any thoughts on this at all, but
Honestly, no, I do think it's a sweep. Like the Royals' offense kind of stinks. I do trust the Orioles more with their pitching. Um, I don't know. The Orioles just kind of feel like that team where like last year they get the brakes beat off of them, and like this year they're kind of just like, well, whatever, fuck it.
yeah, they have the experience. They did it once, you know.
Yeah. So like,
yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of feel like they feel like they could turn it on. I don't know why. I just have a feeling like the Orioles might turn it on.
It's just they're about to run into they're going to run into the Yankees in round 2, and like that's the Yankees obviously have been kind of mediocre for a while, but you've got to assume that Judge and Soto are going to be amped up.
No,
for the playoffs.
I don't know if you should assume that. We can get to that in a second. That's just I don't know.
Well, let's talk here. It came up. Let's talk about it now before we move on.
October
Yeah,
Judge,
I mean,
baby.
like, look, and like, I obviously like, I do it more so as a meme and f around with Omar, obviously in the Discord.
Yeah.
But like, I just need Judge to just
Have a
just
postseason?
go. I need a postseason from him, man. I need it. I need it so bad. I need him to shut me up so bad. I don't need him to be like what he's been in the regular season. Like he doesn't have to be that. I need him to be like slug like 550, like even just like 500, man. Like just do something. Like look at like what's like Stan doesn't have like the greatest postseason numbers, but he has the moments too. Like 2020, he dominated that postseason. Like in 22, like he had the go ahead homer in the division series clinching game. Like Bader was even like doing like having his moments. And then like you see like today, like Lindor, like just like absolutely like with everything going on, just save that team. Like I want that for him so badly. Because if he does like come up short in the playoffs again, like, and again, I know Omar disagrees with me, but his sample size is large in the playoffs. Like it is large. And so like if you don't like if you have like a weak postseason, like I need better than that. I just do.
The only thing is I see your point. I don't like have enough. I don't know enough about like I'm not watching every Yankees postseason game so intently to say like I have an opinion on this, other than to say like he's never had Juan Soto right there in the lineup with him.
Right. And I still think even so, like he's gonna get pitched. He's gonna get pitched around so much because he's gonna have Austin Wells, who's been literally like he's like 4 for 50 in September, and he's gonna be hitting cleanup. And so that's
They've been doing Soto 2, Judge 3 all year, right?
Yeah. What would you do? Judge 1?
I would flip them. I would do Judge 2, Soto 3. Yeah, because you can't pitch around Judge if Soto's coming up next.
Well, the thing is, Judge wants to hit like again, like this is a lot of like what Judge wants to do. Judge, has always wanted to hit 3.
All right, but do you want to win the World Series or not, bro? Like
it doesn't matter what I want. It's clear who
Even still, do
like,
you think Aaron Boone's gonna make that move? Aaron Boone will not make that move.
No, Boone won't.
He won't. Yeah.
And in all seriousness, Boone, I mean, like it's it's Judge's team. Like if he wants to do something, he's gonna do something. I can have my doubts or whatever, but if the man wants to hit 3, he should hit 3. And if he wants to play center field and have another center fielder and play left and a DH playing right field, like let's do it. I don't know. And then now apparently the Yankees backup first baseman is Trent Grisham, who's a left center fielder, and I don't know. There's a lot of things, but at least the 1, 2, 3 right now is going. Like Glaber's collaborating baseball. Yeah, I wish it wasn't his walk here, but is what it is.
Speaking of Glaber, we have a comment from Omar on that point. Could a big playoffs from Glaber Torres get him ingratiated with the Yanks' long-term plans?
No, I think there's no way he's. I don't even think even a good year this year, like a full good year this year, wouldn't have. I don't think it would have. There's just, the Yankees are gonna not necessarily cut payroll because I do think they're still gonna try to get Soto back on a $1 billion or whatever it takes deal, but like I think I think Glaber's gone. And I think they're going to go younger at second base, which is crazy because Glaber's like 26, 27 years old.
Yeah, it just feels like he's old.
I don't know about Rizzo leaving. And like, just like his defense was so huge for them. Like in the last month, like just seeing him picking ball after ball, but he brings zero offense to the table. Ben Rice kind of was supposed to be like that like fill-in, and he did nothing on offense outside of that 3-homer game against Boston. Like he had like a go-ahead homer against Craig Kimbrell, but Craig Kimbrell's dust now, so
Yeah. Well, literally,
it
it's not
doesn't
even on
really
the team.
matter.
Yeah.
But no, to go back to that, I don't think there's anything that Glaber can do, and I think Glaber's just ticketed. I think Miami's gonna throw him some money in the offseason.
Interesting.
Like
Yeah.
he lives in Tampa during the offseason. You know, his family still lives in Florida. Like I think his wife, obviously like lives in New York with him. But like I feel like she goes back. I think she goes back and forth between New York and Florida. And obviously, I bet just being in Florida would be more comfortable for him.
I mean, also, like, you don't want to be rewarding guys with contracts based on postseason performance. You know, like that's regardless of whether it's clutch time, which obviously is. That's a small sample size, and like you should have made, and I'm sure they did make their evaluation of what they are willing to give Kleber a long time ago. You know, like they know what he is as a player. He's been on the team for a while. They'll offer him the contract they're willing to offer him, or they won't offer him anything. And then like it's the same thing with Alonso. Like people talking about like, hey, if Alonso hit a big home run today, or if he like hits a big home run in the wild card series, like maybe they do give him like the sentimental contract. But have you have you seen David Stearns operate? That guy is not going to give two shits about what Pete Alonso does in the playoffs. He has his evaluation, he has his number, and I'm sure Cashman does too. Like they have their number, and they're going to either match it or they won't.
I mean, I might take Pete, honestly.
You can have him.
Please.
Like give me a first baseman who's going to put up like a 120, 125 OPS plus, and I will take it. The Yankees have not had.
Just wait until he's like, oh my God, he had 50 home runs in Yankee Stadium. Oh wait, but all of them were in 10-1 games.
Dude, he's the most maddening player I've had to watch. Like,
no, I bet. Yeah.
I'm actually like really locked into the team. Like he's just there.
Also,
like he's just there.
So I'm in the. This is like the perfect encapsulation of Alonso this year. I mean, it wasn't always like this, obviously, but he's just clearly losing his skill. But I'm in the, I think I've talked about this in our Discord before, but I'm like also in the Baseball Prospectus Discord, and one of their podcast hosts was talking about like when the shit was going crazy in the 8th inning and that scored all those runs. Pete Alonso just like takes a horrible at bat and grounds out, and he was like, well, at least I know I'm not dreaming because Pete Alonso just took a horrible at bat. It's like, it's just he's just up there swinging at horrible pitches.
Feeble. It's just feeble.
Yeah.
Like Vientos is just there, and it's like he could play first. And Vientos is better.
I think he should. He's not a good third baseman. They need to move him. Like he's somewhat serviceable, but
like he's serviceable at third because of his bat.
Right. I don't want to see him at third base.
Yeah, he has the bat to play third base. So
honestly, they scored the Braves when Albies hit that home run. The reason like Miguel had to throw a bunch of pitches in the previous inning because Vientos didn't make 2 plays in a row that any other third baseman would make. So you got to put him at first next year.
Like once they move Vientos to first, I do think that you could live with like Iglesias, Acuna, and Lindor, but that's
I don't know. That's like Iglesias might if he he's not going to repeat 340. Obviously,
I don't think he'll put 340, but like if he's like an average bat instead of like I don't think he's like a 1.
You need to be a better hitter than he is at third base. And
I mean, they don't have any options. That's the problem.
You sign somebody. That's why you trade or sign for somebody.
Well, I mean, I don't know who they'll trade for, but
well, Iglesias has to be for him to be like a serviceable bat, like a league average bat. He has to basically hit 300 every. Like
exactly.
He's a rise.
He has no power.
Yeah. I know,
it's
but it's also like the other options internally or Brett Beatty, which and Ronnie Mauricio, who's coming off of an ACL tear, so he's probably done, and neither of them can hit either. So.
Yeah.
All right. It's rough, but whatever.
Let's move on to another matchup here. Let's go over to the NL. And Chris Bernhardt's setting us up with a question. Atlanta's going to go to San Diego and face that lineup without Sale. Good luck with that.
Yeah, that's a sweep.
Yeah, that's another one. It's a sweep. Atlanta's not going to win a game.
No, the Padres are so much better than them. It's in every aspect.
Yeah.
Plus, like, their entire lineup is just slumping. Like Ozzy Albies can't bat left-handed. Like you look at him like trying to bat right-handed against right-handed hitters. He's like hanging off of the box. Like it's just so uncomfortable. But apparently he can fucking hit Evan Diaz. But
Would you guys honestly like Braves lineup? All right, let's see if I can do this. It's Darno, Olsen, Albies. Who's their shortstop? Doesn't matter for this question.
Arcia.
Arcia, thank you.
Arcia has to be 9-hole. Like,
and then
Arcia can't fucking hit.
They have like Whit Merrifield playing third base half the time, and then you've got Ozuna at DH, obviously, and then you have Harris, Soler, and I'm forgetting
Laureano.
Yeah. Laureano, thank you.
Laureano was hitting like 340 over his last like 30, 40 games.
That's all. That's a fluke. But how many of those guys would you put in the Padres lineup? Like
Ozuna,
maybe. Probably.
I'd
probably take Olsen over Cronenworth or Rise even.
Yeah, I was gonna say Olsen. Yeah, but then like with the way Albies is playing, you're not taking him over Rise.
I think Cronenworth plays second base. They kind of move a bunch of people around the entire.
Yeah, right. They don't have really a set lineup, but I don't. It's just like the Padres are just like they're just so much better. It's just not even. It's like those games are going to be jokes. I mean, they're going to be running Ian Anderson out there in game one against, I mean, probably not Darvish. I'm assuming they're going to. Are they going to use
Michael King?
Oh, Michael King. They already said. I'm an idiot. Yeah, Michael King. Yeah. So like, I mean, that's not anything. The Padres bullpen is like leagues better than the Braves bullpen. The Braves have like a fine bench, but the Padres bench is also pretty good. Like, I don't know. It's going to be – I wouldn't be shocked if those were both blowouts on top of it being a sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be shocked either. I think they kind of just wanted to cap off, a really, like, injury-riddled season with just a playoff appearance. Like, it was different. The vibes were way different in, what was it, 2021?
On the World Series, yeah.
Yeah, just because, like, they got guys that were, like, legitimate legitimate players. Like, Jock Peterson was a legitimate player. Like,
right.
Like, Soler was, like, obviously had legitimate seasons. And Duvall was, like, had, like, 1,000 RBIs
Duvall's good. Yeah. Eddie Rosario was, like, he had a history of being, like, solid, and then he obviously blew up unexpectedly, but still. They just don't have the juice this year. And they really shouldn't even be in the playoffs. They're lucky that
the Mets didn't care.
Game 2. They really shouldn't be in the
playoffs.
playoffs.
And the D-backs pitching just completely like crapped itself.
Yeah. I mean, the D-backs didn't deserve it. Like they have nothing, no one to blame but themselves. Like they blew a 8-0 lead to the Brewers last week. I'm sorry, you don't get to make the playoffs if you do that. That's it kind of is what it is.
Before we go further in the NL, we forgot the Tigers and
no, I was going back to the AL. Yeah, I was going to go back to the AL.
Sorry, my fault.
Yeah, I just wanted to flip over to Atlanta Stadium. You're good. I didn't really tell you guys what I was doing, so you couldn't know what I was doing.
My fault.
Yeah.
I'm new to this still.
No, I literally didn't say my plan. I just wanted to, flip back and forth. But anyway, so there you go. Let's talk Astros Tigers. This is an interesting one because the Tigers have been, hot. Yeah. I mean, they've been like everyone's saying like, oh, last 100 and what now 2 games of the season, the Mets have been the best team. But like in the last like 50 games, the Tigers have been the best team. And they're coming in very hot. I mean, they came out of nowhere. Their playoff chances were like 7% like a week ago, and they're in the playoffs. Help of the Twins, talk about collapses. Like that's embarrassing. The Twins just totally crap the bed. But look, the Astros are better, obviously. But I don't know. I think the Tigers could do it.
Nah, I mean, it's a cool narrative. It's AJ Hinch versus his former team.
True. Yeah,
that's cool.
You got Skubal out there in one, presumably.
It's Skubal versus Valdez. But like the biggest issue is gonna be the Astros left-handed pitchers.
Yeah.
Like the Tigers' best hitter is Kerry Carpenter, who doesn't play against lefties. He has like a 980 OPS versus like righties, and he has like 40 plate appearances all season against lefties.
Right.
Like they don't let him play against lefties. Like down the stretch, they basically, if he started against a righty and then someone like they brought in a lefty, it didn't matter what inning, they would take him out. Like it's that's a huge problem because you're gonna probably face Valdez and Kikuchi in games 1 and game 3, unless Ronald Blanco goes games.
No, you're right. I mean, the Astros are really good. I
have no idea who the Tigers throw after Schoolboy.
No, neither do I. I couldn't even tell you. I don't know.
They're just gonna wing it. Like it is the most interesting pitching rotation that I've seen in a bit because they're just kind of like, okay, so this guy's gonna like throw 3 innings one game, and we're just gonna kind of wing it.
Yeah, they bullpen twice every rotation turn. So
right, true. Yeah.
I'm
trying to look at who they're.
But they can do it. I mean, like I love vibes. They have vibes, and like that's not obviously it's not quantifiable, but like that stuff will play at the postseason. It's like it's such like a small like sample, like where like you just have 2 or 3 games, like just like Torkelson could run into a ball or some point, like Riley Green could go off for like 3 days, like that stuff could happen. And like if Scooble like just destroys that Astros lineup, and Valdez, who has been bad over his last like 8 or 9 postseason starts, like he's been bad.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
Like he could, like obviously he finished the season really strong, but like he could just crap the bed too.
Right.
Though I would love a hater just like disaster class.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be so good for baseball.
I think what I'm thinking honestly is like if Scooble shoves, now the Astros are back into a corner, obviously, and like you just never know. You only need to win 1 game out of 2. Like it could happen.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. They're still the Astros, and I think their devil magic still exists for a little bit. Still a little left, so we'll see.
They're going to win the series. I think the Tigers take one. But they're going to win the series ultimately.
Yeah, I agree.
And Astros Guardians. I don't know. The Guards are a weird team this year. I don't really know what to think of them. They're just like
Cleveland fans don't believe in them. Like they truly don't. But like their bullpen is just so like their rotation is like they have like Ben Lively and like.
Well, and then you've got Class A at the end there.
But their bullpen literally doesn't like. If you're a power hitting team, you're not going to beat them because they don't allow homers.
Right.
Also, like just like every arm in that pen is good.
Yeah.
Is really good. And then Class A, obviously, like one of the best seasons we'll ever have for reliever.
Yeah. But and their offense is solid. Like Jose Ramirez, underratedly unbelievable year. Like
is he even like underrated anymore? Like he's like
I think people just don't think about it because he's in Cleveland. Like you just don't think about players in Cleveland, honestly.
Yeah, but I think everybody kind of knows he's the best third baseman in the league.
Yeah.
I never
like people try to put like Machado and like Arenado.
It's like
Arenado sucks now.
Arenado's like.
I mean, they used to try to put him in put them in those conversations.
Yeah.
But like Jose Ramirez every year is like a top,
unbelievable,
like 5 top 10 player. So
honestly, he's like MVP level. He's just stuck in a league with Aaron Judge and now Bobby Witt, and it had been in a league with Shohei Ohtani. Like it's just.
And then Volpe obviously will have his rise. Don't worry.
Right, of course, Volpe. Once Judge retires, it's going to be like, oh damn, Ramirez is stuck behind Volpe now for MVP.
Yeah. But like if Soto stays in that league, he's going to have to deal with that too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the Yankees have 2 perennial MVP candidates. Yeah. Plus Volpe, so 3 really.
But Volpe, yeah, and then Austin Wells, you just read the entire
right,
Austin Wells, actually.
Honestly, like
it's but in all seriousness, that man's a shoe-in Hall of Famer to me.
Yeah.
I agree.
He's been for sure an unbelievable career. Yeah.
He's so good. God, and he does everything well. It's great.
I mean, just proof of how good he is that Cleveland didn't trade him. Like they actually kept him.
Yeah,
they traded Lindor instead.
Right. Which I mean, I would argue still, honestly, Lindor is better. But
Lindor wanted a $300 million contract. J. Ryan legitimately just wanted this pay and didn't care what he got paid. Like his contract
was,
I think,
$1 million contract.
Yeah,
$1 million contract. So
I mean, much deserved, obviously.
Yeah.
Just not Volpe though.
If he, I was talking to a friend, and I honestly believe this. If he never gets another hit as a Met, he justified that whole contract with that home run today.
Like I feel that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the clutchest of clutch moments. With an injured back, he literally put the team on his back after Edwin Diaz rain farted the Mets into a loss. Just unbelievable.
I I honestly, I don't need a ring. If he gave me like a World Series berth, like I would not care. Like he could be David Wright, spinostenosis.
Yeah.
If we just got to the World Series on that contract, like
this injured back, let's please not talk about spinal stenosis right now.
sorry. Let me not jinx it. But
God.
honestly,
all right. Since we started talking about the Mets, and that is the only wild card series we have left, let's go there. But first, let's talk a bit about our sponsor today, BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. If you think you know your stuff, get in on their $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance of weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to their online casino, get in on a game of Jack Black or poker, or unwind with one of their over 150 slot games. You can head to the website today to get on the action. Bet online, the game starts here. Okay, so Mets, Brewers. Tyrese, how you feeling? The Brewers, 5-1 against the Mets this year, but the Mets did win the one thanks to David Peterson, FIP merchant himself.
DP. This goes 3, and I don't know who wins the third game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously my heart says Mets, but
I don't know because I'm like, I feel like if the Mets win game 1, then I feel like they're the vibes team this year.
I think like the thing is, I actually think they're going to win game 2 because no team is going to beat Sean Manaea twice in a week like that. I
can't say they're winning game 2 because I feel like if they win game 1, if they lose game 1, they're going to be tight.
That's true. They do get that way.
So I'm like, if they win game 1, then it's like they're either going to get really, really good momentum and they're going to win game 2, or they're going to lose it. And then they win game 3 because they're just like, whatever.
Right.
Fuck it. Like,
you've got Jose Quintana out there probably, or maybe short rest David Peterson for game 3 against, I don't remember who the Brewers pitchers are, but like somebody who's frankly better than either one of those guys. And the Brewers lineup, like, they just don't expand the zone, the Brewers lineup at all. And that's a real problem. It's tough for the Mets, especially. Tough for the Mets bullpen, which has 3 maybe trustworthy guys in it. It's a real problem.
And they're gonna have 2 of those trustworthy guys because Diaz is not pitching until
he hasn't made Turner down tomorrow. So you're gonna have closer Ryan Stanek for game 1 probably.
Yeah, you're gonna have Ryan Stanek.
Why not Buto? Wouldn't you just have Buto?
Buto's
gonna watch too many guys. I don't want Buto closing.
I also think he's probably gonna be the long man, if anything.
Yeah, I think you have to have him ready to because the thing is, obviously, you guys know this, but for anyone watching who, maybe doesn't, isn't huge into baseball playoffs, starting pitchers in the playoffs are on short leases. Like, Severino gets in trouble at all after the 3rd inning, he's coming out.
And just to let you guys know, just as a Yankee fan, Severino's postseason history is not great.
Yeah,
he has some very notable blowups. So
he's kind of been on the. I think he's hitting a wall. I'm worried because it's just so many innings from this year compared to
for sure.
But you got to send him out there. You obviously have to send him out there for game 1. There's no other option.
Well, he won't be hungover because he was just drinking water.
That's smart. That was pretty
dedicated.
I appreciate that. So good to know he won't be hungover. But maybe Pete Alonso is clutch, and it's like a weird reverse psychology type thing. Because he's too hungover to realize it's a big moment.
What if he just needs to drink to be good?
Drunk Pete Alonso. Honestly, this theory is legit because the problem with Pete is he gets 2 in his head in important moments, and then that's why he can't hit. So if he's drunk or hungover or whatever and can't think straight, it's this is low leverage. I'm fine. And then he just, bangs a homer.
Is he just is he literally just drunken style Rock Lee? Honestly?
Yeah. I mean, he might be. Yeah.
But yeah,
can someone make us a meme of Pete Alonso as drunken Master Rock Lee? That'd be so good.
Exactly for that.
The hands and he's so good. Anyway, what do you think?
I think the Mets win.
Pretty much win.
I mean, I've just seen the Brewers just fail so many times in the playoffs.
That's true.
They do. They are.
That's
They are
true.
very
Like
proper.
even when like they made the LCS, I think when it was 18 against the Dodgers, like they literally had
Yeah.
the series all right in front of them, and they just let it go. I don't trust them to win it.
They don't
Do we
have
have a rotation yet?
I think they go Peralta, and then if they win, they go. Let me see here. They haven't announced game 2 and game 3,
But
Peralta
probably
is game
starting
1.
tomorrow.
And they
Yeah.
said that they would decide after game 1 who pitches game 2.
Okay.
But their
So
second
they
best
pro-
pitcher is probably Tobias Myers, and then it'd be Frankie Montas.
Oh, I think if the Mets face Montas, they beat him.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to see.
I don't think they'll play Montas. I can't.
Or Aaron Savali, apparently, who is the unluckiest pitcher in the world, but
Right.
it doesn't really matter.
Myers just shut down the Mets on Friday. I don't want to see him.
Yeah.
They look totally lost against him, but that's probably who, obviously the Brewers are going to throw him. So, I don't know.
Myers is really good. He's really good.
Very good.
Plus,
I
like the
think he
Brewers
would pitch-
bullpen. Like the Brewers
Yeah.
bullpen is just like tough. It's
Mhm.
so.
So you
They
gotta
have a
you gotta
really-
get on Peralta early. You
Yeah,
gotta,
you have to. And the Mets just don't. The Mets thing all year, except against the Phillies, really has been like beat up the
Coming
bullpen.
back.
Don't do shit
Yeah.
against the starter. Beat up the bullpen.
The
So,
Yankees
like,
are the same way a lot of the time too. So I
Yeah,
understand.
you just can't do that against the Brewers. You gotta get to the starter. And all right, here's a question: where would you go lineup wise? I mean, obviously, I think you go Lindor. I think you go
Iglesias.
Lindor, Iglesias, Nimmo, Vientos, Pete. They're not playing Winker at all. Martinez.
Well, they hit Nemo cleanup today.
Yeah,
So,
I would know.
I know he has like bad
I would-
stats as a cleanup hitter, but like it worked.
I would hit Nimmo cleanup again. No, I would do
Yeah, so
Lindor.
you would go
Iglesias,
Lindor, Iglesias, Vientos, Nemo,
Yeah.
and then what?
Yeah.
Pete,
5 probably.
and then
I'd be on the
kind of
bench,
have to hit
honestly.
JD 6th, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the thing
yeah,
is, like, I really wish Winker wasn't in such a slump because, like, that's the guy you want Winker there. But
Yeah.
he's like 3 for 40, so you kind of have
Also, like I think JD found his bat again, so I think they're
He
going to
was a little
go.
better.
Because he had a
Got
blue
some
single.
pitches out there.
He had a hard hit double.
He had 3 hard hits the other day.
Yeah, he had a hard hit double and a blue
Okay.
single. And
I mean, it's just like they don't have any good options at DH.
plus, Mendoza's going to go with JD.
He will, and then
Yeah.
honestly,
7.
I would leave Marte on the bench, and I would go.
Roan.
I'd probably go with the defense lineup in the outfield, and then go.
You can't play Bader.
Well,
you can't play Bader. I'm sorry.
You can't play
do not-
Bader, especially against a
Marte-
righty. You
Marte
can't do it. I
play
know.
the outfield. He can't play the outfield anymore.
Then
Yeah,
just
but
put, just put Winker in right. Just put Winker in right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
maybe.
I-
just
And
don't-
it would give you another lefty in the lineup because you don't have any
Yeah.
besides Nemo and
Lindor.
Lindor's obviously
And
on the left
Lindor.
side.
Yeah, but they just haven't been playing Winker, so I don't know. I mean, yes, I would probably go Martinez DH, Winker and right, and then
And then Alvarez and Taylor.
and then Taylor.
Taylor,
Yeah.
by the way, I know Martina was kind of like in his tweets was just like pumping him up as like God's greatest
Yeah.
creation,
Yeah,
but like
whatever.
that dude, I love him.
Oh,
He's
Taylor's great.
Like he's
Yeah.
he's a hustler. Like
He's a dog.
He's a dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Obviously Lucchese didn't work out. I mean, he did today. God, his
Yeah.
outing today was phenomenal. But
yeah,
Taylor's been more than you could ask for.
He's been on fire in September too. So like, I think you have to kind of play him.
uh,
What I can maybe see. I mean, I don't think it'll happen, but like, if you told me Tyrone 6, Martinez 7, I wouldn't hate it.
you can't. It's
I
just-
can't think that.
They won't do it, but
Yeah.
like, Tyrone's been
think
hitting, dude.
I
Like,
think
he's
you
just
bet Taylor
been-
ninth. I think you bet Taylor ninth, and I don't know.
It's also good to have Taylor speed ninth, I think.
right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Maybe I would actually go Alvarez 7, Winker 8.
Yeah.
Hope the guys are on base in front of Alvarez. I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see what Mendoza does. On this kind of, how does the team work point though, G-Bake asked the question in Discord. I haven't watched much baseball this year. Who are some of the lesser known bench and bullpen guys that I should know going to the postseason? So let's do Yankees and Mets. We don't need to go through every playoff team, but let's just stick Yankees and Mets here.
Yeah, just do Yankees and Mets. Who cares about the other teams? I
Yeah.
agree.
So Max,
This
why don't
is-
you talk a little bit about some Yankees bullpen and bench guys?
Oh, I would love to. What like obviously, and he's not really lesser known now because he's completely destroyed hitters in September. Luke Weaver has struck out like 56% of guys in September. He's asserted himself as the new Yankees closer. He's a psycho. He's an introvert, like and like just like, but like apparently when he's pitching, he thinks he's like he just I don't know what the hell happens to him. He's nuts. Canley's good. Everyone knows, but Canley's kind of a known guy, I guess, because he's like 35 now. Tim Hill's been phenomenal for the Yankees. They've been trying to trade for him for like 6 years, and he just comes in there and just slings the ball 85 miles per hour sidearm, and it works perfectly for him. He's been phenomenal since they got him. What else? Hopefully Jake Cousins is good to go in the postseason. He had like a slight pec injury, but I mean he's got one of the best sliders I've ever seen. Besides that, I mean Holmes is god awful. They're gonna have Stroman coming out of the pen. He's where he should be, like just like Cashman predicted years ago. Who else am I forgetting? I'm forgetting somebody.
I wasn't counting, unfortunately.
Let me quickly look. Give me a second. Hold on. Let's see here. Ian Hamilton. He's kind of hit or miss. Like it really depends on how he's feeling because he's got like this like very weird slider. That is unhittable. I forgot what he calls it. It's not like he calls it something like weird. Mark Leiter Jr. has been a very humongous disappointment since he came over to the Yankees. He hasn't been able to get to his splitter, and he throws like a 92 mile per hour like sinker that gets absolutely clobbered, and so he's basically unpitchable. And they'll probably, I mean, they might have one of Meza and Beater in the pen. I don't know, but probably not. But that's basically their pen. In terms of their bench is pretty large. They'll probably start Wells over Trevino, but Trevino's obviously a good catcher. Birdie will be there for speed. Oswaldo will probably start at first base now with Rizzo hurt. Rizzo won't be back for the DS, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I wonder if they just bring up Ben Rice as just another bench bat and they kind of like play it by ear there. Grisham's obviously a Gold Glove defender. I don't really know if they'll start Verdugo or Dominguez. I lean towards Dominguez just because I feel like, you know, like at least like his ceiling is higher than Verdugo's. And yeah, that's kind of what they're rocking with. I don't know.
All right.
What about your Mets?
Before we go to the Mets, who do you see as like, who do you think is going to shove from the bullpen?
Oh, Luke Weaver. I think he's made for October. He's
right.
made for October. That dude is he's on a roll right now. And there's nothing better than having a guy with like a rising fastball at 96 and a wipeout changeup coming out of your pen. And he can throw like he's gonna end up getting like you could put him in the seventh and he might pitch the rest of the game. Like he's like that kind of guy because obviously he used to be a starter. He's one of the worst starters in baseball before he came to the Yankees, and now he's
they just
better
pull bullpen guys. They just know how to do it. You know, they don't want to make.
Yeah, they can't really make like starters outside of like
their
giving
bullpen
their
is always
role.
like fantastic.
Yeah, it's like, but they need more. They probably need more swing and miss in the future. But they turned Luke Weaver into. I mean, he had the largest increase in strikeout rate in baseball this year. So what they've done with him is nuts. And then if obviously Clay Holmes just shows up and like is like pitchable, that changes a lot of things, obviously. But I really don't want to chance that.
All right, so the Mets now for the wild card series. For anyone listening who might not be aware, you usually go shorter bullpen, especially in the wild card series. There's only 3 games. You're really not going to need. I mean, the Mets are in a weird position because their top 2 bullpen guys are not going to be available tomorrow. But you don't really normally need too many guys out of the pen. So I'm thinking like, you know, their starters are going to be obviously starters are going to be Severino, Minaya, probably Quintana games 1 to 3. they're gonna have McGill probably on the roster. Well, no, because he can't. He just pitched today. He can't pitch again. I don't know who they're. I mean, it's interesting because like I guess they'll probably have Peterson on the roster as like emergency long man. He can't pitch tomorrow, but he should be able to pitch if necessary Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
So, and then bullpen wise, it's Diaz obviously, Phil Maton, who's like their 8th inning guy. He's been excellent since they got him from the Rays. Shockingly, the Rays lost a trade for probably the first time ever. You got Jose Buto, who has been a starter his whole career. They've been bringing him in the bullpen all year. He's been awesome. Main issue with him is he walks a lot of guys, and it just makes you nervous in a big spot. Basically, you have to have him come in a clean inning. I don't want him out there with men on, so he's not really a great fireman, which is obviously a bit of a problem with that kind of guy. They've got Ryan Stanek, they got for the Mariners at the deadline. He had a pretty rough August, but he's been great.
He's been better September.
Yeah, and I'm feeling fairly confident about him. And then, I don't even know at that point. The thing is,
Oscar Braziba, baby.
I don't think they're going to have a lefty because, both they have the 2 lefties they have are the Youngs, Danny Young and Alex Young, and they both.
I think they'll keep Danny. I can see them keeping.
Well, they just sent down
probably
Alex Young, right? That's how they brought up.
Yeah,
Alex Young is
Alex
gone.
He's not going to be able to.
Alex Young is gone. They sent him out for Lucchesi. So they'll probably keep Danny, just have a lefty, because they also used Oscar Braziban in both ends of the doubleheader today, so that means he's gone too.
Yeah.
Do they have Ottavino in their postseason bullpen?
I don't.
I know you want to say no, but dude, he looks so good today.
He did look very good today. Honestly, I'm not I can't believe I'm saying this. Ottavino saved them the game because
absolutely
they were ready to forfeit, and they threw him out there thinking hey, look, we'll come back for game 2. And Ottavino pitched a great inning and kept them in it for them to then come back in the 8th. So
he's gonna be in the bullpen because Mendoza's gonna go to his vets. So you're looking at probably bullpen of Diaz.
Let's count here. We've got 3 starters. We've got Peterson. That's 4. You probably are going to have 10, maybe 11 total pitchers. So you've got 7 guys in the bullpen at most. Diaz, Stanek, Budo, Maton, Young is 5. And then
Otto.
Probably Otto, and geez, I don't even freaking know who you take up in that.
Did you count Danny Young?
Yeah, I did. Who am I missing? Oh, Reed Garrett.
Oh yeah, duh.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
I forgot about Reed Garrett.
Very volatile. He's kind of gotten in and out of the circle of trust all year. He'll definitely be on the postseason roster, but I do not trust him in a big spot at all.
He's the fireman. That's the worst
the
part.
problem is he's the well, Maton's the fireman normally, but he can't pitch tomorrow. He pitched 3 days in a row. So
yeah.
So tomorrow the closer is Stanek, and the fireman is probably
the closer probably Garrett.
You got Budo for middle innings. You've got Garrett probably as your fireman, and Stanek to close, and you got to just hope you get through it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Would you throw Manaea for multiple innings if you had to? I know he would be your game 2 starter, but would you?
Yeah, but I mean,
he has experience. He has experience coming out of the bullpen, and in the
I guess you can bring Quintana back on short rest on Wednesday, but then you've got Quintana on short rest on Wednesday and Peterson on short rest on Thursday.
I think Peterson is probably I think you probably make Peterson available tonight or tomorrow if you need to.
Tomorrow's his throw day.
I think you had to make one of your lefties available. I think
it would be Peterson.
It just can't be Manaea. It can't be Manaea. You can't. You can't.
You need him for game 2. He's a race.
So, and their bench, the Mets use a lot of their bench guys. So you probably, if you're watching the Mets, you've probably seen them. But their bench is some combo normally of Bader, Marte, Taylor, and Winker. In outfield, 2 of those guys play, 2 of those guys sit every game, unless one of them's DHing for Martinez. And Taylor and Bader are both defensive guys. I mean, Taylor's been hitting. He's not really known as a good hitter, but he's been hitting this month, so that's been great. Bader, horrible offensive player, totally useless, but amazing defender. So, probably more of a defensive caddy in the late innings. Mets ever have a lead, you're just going to yank Marte or Winker for Bader as soon as you can, and try to preserve the lead. Their backup catcher is Luis Torrens, who is great at throwing out runners, unbelievable throwing out runners. Kind of came back to earth a little bit late in the season, but that was because he was literally no one was stealing bases on him. Can't hit it all. It is. He's a backup catcher. It's fine. Eddie Alvarez will not be on the team because they required him after September 1st, so he's not eligible for the postseason. So don't worry about him at all.
And then there's Acuna.
And also, unfortunately, I can almost guarantee Brett Beatty is going to be on the team.
God damn it!
Wait! What?
I forgot he is going to be.
They're going to have an extra position player. They're already losing Alvarez because he's not eligible for the postseason. I guarantee Brett Beatty is on this roster.
Wait, what do you mean? Oh, you mean Eddie Alvarez?
Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez.
Okay, I was so confused. That's right.
So Luis Angel Acuna, obviously brother Ronald, rookie. He's been like amazing to start. He had an amazing first few days. Kind of cooled off, but he also hasn't been playing because Lindor's been back. It's
What about? Yeah, it is Beatty, isn't it? Is Beatty the fastest among him? Yeah, DJ Stewart's the only other option, isn't it?
Please do not call DJ Stewart for tomorrow. I would not.
I would actually.
Your base runner off the bench would just be Acuna.
No, it's Acuna.
Right?
It's Acuna.
Yeah.
He's not like as fast as his brother, obviously, but
He's still pretty fast.
Ozokar was acquired after, right?
Alvarez.
No, Ozokar. There's an Ozokar he was claimed
Ozokar?
on September 5th. He's been in AAA. Jose Ozokar.
Oh, I don't even know who that is. So
he's really the Padres used to have him as like their designated pinch runner.
Oh yeah. Okay, now I remember. Yeah, no,
he's not eligible because he was. Yeah.
I mean, so you got to call again. You have to replace Eddie Alvarez, who is not eligible. So I just think it's going to be Brett Beatty. And the thing is, they're going to have an extra on top of that one more position player, which maybe is a third catcher, which would be Hayden Sanger, who's like a really solid defensive catcher in AAA, or unfortunately DJ Stewart, which would make me want to die.
Oh yeah, right. In the 3-game series, the teams usually go with the third catcher.
Make me want to be unalive. We're on YouTube. I think maybe they just go third catcher. DJ Stewart is so.
Wait, I got an idea. Hold on. I just realized that he's on the 40 man. Would y'all have Alex Ramirez?
No.
No. He's garbage.
Honestly, if you're going to call up another outfielder, it's probably Jackie Bradley.
Is he on the 40?
No,
you
but you would just DFA Stewart.
Honestly, yeah.
I would much rather.
That's
Jackie
crazy. I'm actually really excited for tomorrow's roster release now. I didn't realize how many.
Interesting. Yeah.
And realize how many moves you guys had to make.
Yeah, I mean they're going to have to. Again, Brazimon's not going to be there, and Alex Young is already off the team. Luke Casey's obviously not going to be there. McGill is kind of out until the DS if they make it. So, you've got your 4 starters who are going to be on the roster, and then you've got your 6 or 7 bullpen guys, but they're going to need 2 new position players because they're down Alvarez and they're going to have to add an extra. So it's got to be Beatty, and I think I would personally go with Bradley because at least he can play defense, or Hayden Sanger. But they're going to go DJ Stewart.
Wait, so how does that work? Like, did he be in the organization before?
You just have to be in the organization before September 1st. Yeah.
Okay.
So Bradley's been on the team since, July or something. He's eligible. So it's really just Eddie Alvarez and Jose Ozokar who can't be on the roster. But
you can't bring up Kevin Pareda, whatever his name is.
Why don't you do that? He's hard.
Why?
I know. I was joking.
Okay.
One of the worst draft picks that they've had.
Oh my god! Can't see your face, so I can't tell you're joking.
I was joking.
Let's call up horrible draft pick Colin Houck instead. We'll just keep the train rolling. Anyway,
speaking of draft picks, though, just bring up Vassell.
Maybe, yeah.
Throw the pen.
People thought
Gilbert.
People thought Brandon Sproat might start game 2 today.
What?
Oh,
what?
Right, yeah.
Why?
But they called up Lucchesi instead. I would not throw a rookie out there.
He was never going to start game 2. Are people?
Is he with the team?
No. Nobody knew who was with the team. They wouldn't say that until they announced Lucchesi was starting game 2. Nobody they didn't even have them available in the locker room, so none of the reporters knew who was there. They just knew that there were a few. It turned out Beatty was there and Lucchesi, but nobody knew that until.
Yeah, I saw Beatty was there because
he was celebrating.
Yeah. Congratulations, loser! You hit 100 for 2 months, and then we're not even good in AAA.
It was literally the Kendrick Perkins meme with him holding the trophy, Beatty celebrating, and he did nothing to win.
Right? Yeah, amazing. All right.
I mean, honestly, I'm thinking, and I'm like, if it's not Jackie Bradley, are you looking at like sorry, are you looking at like you probably look at no, not Jet. It wouldn't be Jet.
I think it's JBJ. I do agree with you. Now I think about it, he also has like the postseason experience too.
Yeah,
I think that matters a little bit.
mm-hmm.
I mean, they won LCS MVP, I think, right?
And he played for Stearns in Milwaukee. You know, that's always familiarity.
Yeah.
Boss.
Yeah.
It's going to be DJ Stewart, and I'm going to be annoyed.
God, if it's DJ Stewart, man, it defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah. I mean, Beatty I can live with, but Stewart is just so useless. Anyway, all right. Let's. We haven't discussed the Dodgers or Phillies yet. So, how are you, Tyrese? Who would you rather play? Assuming the Mets. I mean, the Mets will play the Phillies if they win the series. But just hypothetically, who would you rather play? Dodgers, Phillies.
The Dodgers. Their pitching is just.
Their pitching is bad. They have no pitching. It's a real problem. But it's Ohtani's there. I don't know.
I mean, the thing with the Phillies is like the Phillies have really good pitching, and they have like really good offense. To me, it just feels like the Dodgers always collapse. So that's what I'm kind of banking on. It's like they don't have any pitching, and they always collapse every year. Meanwhile, the Phillies have usually gotten hotter towards October.
Yeah,
but they've won the division, so I don't know how that might change them.
Well, and they were definitely trying as hard as they could to win the division against the Mets last weekend, and they couldn't do it. They just needed to split, and they couldn't do it. And look, that was at home. The Mets are obviously, if they get to the DS, going to be playing most of the games on the road. But they play the Phillies tough all year. I don't know. They don't. The Phillies defense is not good. So like the Mets spraying the ball around the field, like that works in their favor. I don't know. I think I'd go Phillies. What about you, Max?
Sorry, I'm just completely in awe of Jared Goff's 18 for 18 for 292 game right now. That's nuts. But I mean, I'd probably. God, man, it's like, I mean, they're both so good. They both would absolutely crush anyone from the AL.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably rather play the Dodgers because they're pitching.
That's definitely the chalk choice. It's just I'm trying to get a little
like if you beat Yamamoto, like
who's
their two again? Who's their two?
I don't even know. Everyone's injured. It's hard to keep track. I have no idea.
I can't remember. Hold on, let me look.
Also, yeah, like their ace is going to be in his first postseason. So
yeah, he's a coward anyway. So
yeah, Yamamoto.
Yeah. Can handle the big
market.
It's
Flaherty. They have Flaherty too.
Oh, that's right, Flaherty. Yeah.
Flaherty doesn't really strike out batters anymore, right? Ever since he came out of the Dodgers, I think.
No, yeah.
So
and then, all right, hold on. Here's our. So
Stone, would Stone be like their game 3 pitcher?
Stone's hurt.
No, Gavin Stone's
he's
injured.
hurt.
Gavin Stone's injured. Kershaw's injured. Stone's injured. Glasnow's injured. Gonsolin's injured. River Ryan is injured. So it's probably
there's 3 right now. Is Walker Buehler probably
right, and he's been bad, right?
He's been good the last 2 starts against like the Rockies and like someone else.
Congratulations to Walker Buehler being in the Rockies. Great job, bud. Well, okay. So last
there's a
2
good chance
starts
they could go bullpen in game 3.
Yeah, I mean the Dodgers could probably pull it off if anybody could. But I don't know. It's interesting. All right, so let's do 2 more little prompts here, and then I think we'll wrap things up. Excuse me. Number 1, top 5 teams that you see as title contenders, either league, just overall top 5. Tyrese, what are you thinking?
Phillies 1, Padres 2, Yankees 3, Orioles 4, and then I want to say like Mets 5. Because like I don't trust the rest of the NL. I really don't.
I mean, honestly, how funny it would it be if Ohtani finally made the playoffs after all these years and then got swept right out of the NLDS?
Oh my god!
That would be
that'd be great. Honestly, like, Ohtani can't even pitch, so whatever. I know they talked about that for like a second.
In the playoffs, yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, okay, sure. But like who else in the NL is like realistically like the Braves are dead.
No, the Braves are dead. Yeah.
Dodgers have no. Yeah, the Dodgers have no pitching. The Orioles can't hit. The Tigers are weird. I don't trust their offense.
And the Royals
Guardians.
don't have an
you don't-
offense, so
You don't trust.
Guard-
You don't like the Astros,
The Astros to me just kind of feel.
dude. But they got. I mean, like Jordan could go for like a 4-homer like
Yeah,
series.
true.
Like Altuve could hit like 500 in a series.
I know, but like this kind of feels like the last dance for the Astros in some way. So I don't.
Gives me more reason to think that they're gonna return. I mean, like they've made what? They've made every ALCS since 17.
yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I'll probably take the
I think
Astros then.
like that's a long streak.
Yeah.
All right, Max, what's your 5?
1 Padres, 2 Phillies, 3 Dodgers, 4 Astros, 5 Yankees.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Wow.
The Astros are
Pessimistic gimmick.
like,
I mean, Yankees fans, Astros, I get it. It's like the Mets and the Braves,
Yeah.
they have. I feel like the Yankee like if the script writers really care, they're gonna have the Yankees and Astros in the ALCS again. And the
Yeah.
last
It's gonna
step for
happen.
the Yankees, last step for Aaron Judge to make a World Series, and to cap off
Yeah,
what I
Astros
hope
fine.
is a phenomenal postseason, is beating the Astros.
Yeah. So I would have, I think, it's interesting because I think because the AL is easier, I would have more AL teams on my list, just because the AL teams are going to beat each other all up. So I would say Yankees, Phillies. I don't know. I don't trust it.
He's won?
Yeah,
Just
just
you're on something.
I'm telling just because the NL is so much better that like the Yankees have an easier road.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I trust 3 NL teams before I trust the Yankees.
But it's not about like once you're in the World Series, it's basically a coin flip. Like the Yankees have a much easier road to the World Series than any
Because
NL.
the easier road for the Yankees though is the Orioles and the Orioles and the Astros.
The Astros are the Guardians, and like they're better than all 3 of those teams. I know like the Yankees are going to be like the Astros, we can't beat them, but like it could happen. This could be the year. Like the Yankees being number 1 is more like there are no good teams this year. Honestly, that's my real opinion. Like no team is.
Yeah.
So I would go like Yankees. Yankees, Padres, Phillies, Astros, Guardians. I think that's my 5. Just because, again, like I think the NL teams are going to beat each other up, and like I just don't know who's going to come out of the NL. And the Yankees, like they're going to have a pretty easy road to the ALDS or ALCS rather, and then it's just can they be the
I
Guardians?
wouldn't
of
say
the
pretty
Astros?
easy.
Yeah, I think the Orioles. I think the
they'll
Orioles
win
will
the
push
second
them.
best. I mean, like the Orioles are going to give them a run for their money.
Maybe I don't know. I think like I
That
don't.
series goes 5.
If they beat Corbin Burns in a game 1 of the LDS, they win that series.
I just don't trust I don't trust the Orioles in a big spot, honestly.
I don't trust the Yankees in a big spot though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't trust the Yankees.
But that's not really a big spot for them. Like the ALDS is not a big
Sweet.
spot.
Look.
It's a big spot
I'll
for
say this.
though, but
I'll say this: if Judge has a nuclear postseason, they're winning everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if Judge
so-
does that, they're winning everything. It doesn't. I don't really like. They just need like 3 good hitters in the postseason, and they'll be fine.
And they have
And one
to.
of them has to be
so-
Judge.
Right, of course. Yeah. So let's wrap it up with this on that point. I'll start with you, Max. How far do you think the Yankees are going to go, and how far do you think the Mets are going to go?
I think the Yankees are going to make the LCS. I do think that the Astros are going to beat them. My World Series pick. I'll say that first. I mean, should we just do World Series pick with us still?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess they're kind of hand in hand.
Yeah.
I think the Yankees make the LCS and lose to the Astros. I think the Astros lose to the Padres in the World Series.
Interesting.
I think the Mets. I think they beat the Brewers, and then who would they play? They would play
Phillies.
the
Phillies.
I think they beat the Phillies. I don't know, man. Like NL East division winners have a
No, I
bad
know
track record.
They
Yeah.
choke.
Yeah.
They choke, and I like that trend continuing. I also, I mean, I just see them, and I see them coming up short, getting swept by the Padres.
Damn.
Like them going 5 games with the Phillies and then getting swept by the Padres.
Yeah.
It would be depressing, but like you'd have to look back and say it was a good year, even if it happened that way.
That's a win.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, the thing is, honestly, if I'm the Phillies, I don't want to see the Mets. I don't. Like you just hope the Brewers win that series. Anyway, Tyrese. So let's do again. How far do the Yankees go? How far do the Mets go? And if that's not your World Series matchup, what's your World Series matchup?
It might be my World Series matchup. I'm not even joking.
Right, no way. I respect it.
I think the Mets beat the Brewers. I think the Mets would beat the Phillies. The Padres would be the most difficult one, but like, I feel like the Mets are the vibes team this year. It just kind of feels like the Mets are the vibes team this year, and it kind of feels like the Yankees are just going to beat up on a bad AL. So for me, I think the Yankees are going to win the World Series, and it hurts me to say that. It really hurts me to say
another
that.
Subway Series would be depressing as fuck.
It would absolutely be depressing, but I think they're going to win it because I don't think there are any other good like. The Mets have beat the Padres all year. Granted, they've missed Tatis and they missed like Machado for like parts of it, but like the Mets have beat the Padres.
Yeah, but they almost took 3 out of 4 in San Diego last month, and they had to have not that this can't happen in the postseason, but Diaz had to blow up for the Mets to not beat the Padres 3 out of 4 in that series. So, all right, Yankees over Mets. That is bold.
Yeah.
I think the Yankees make the World Series. I think they actually face the Guardians in the ALCS, and the Astros don't even make it there.
Sorry, I'll say this: if the Guardians if it's the Yankees Guardians, I feel fine.
Yeah,
the Guardians just don't scare me. Like as a Yankee fan, because the Yankees have just like tormented that division for years.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just think
and they even tormented they beat the brakes off of the Guardians this year.
Yeah,
and they even it was April or May. I think it was April because Volpe was still good. Volpe had like a go ahead like a tying like double against Class A, and that was like one of like the 4 runs he gave up all year.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I think the Astros will not. I think they're going to have a tough series with the Tigers, and they're going to run to the Guardians. And I think the Guardians bullpen is going to be too much for them. I don't think the Astros will be able to pull it out. It's probably going to be a tough series. I could see it going 5, but I think the Guards are going to pull it off. And then I think the Yankees Guardians that's like probably a Yankees sweep. Honestly, I would not be worried if I were the Yankees about the Guardians at all. But I have the Yankees losing to the Padres in the World Series. I think it's going to be. I'm so scared about picking Mets over Brewers, but I do think my heart says they're going to do it. They just always find a way somehow. This stupid team always finds a way to win. And I'm not scared of the Phillies. I really I'm not. Yep. So I think it's Mets, Padres, NLCS. I do not think they're going to get swept, but I don't think they have the guns to just their starters are not good enough to be going 3 rounds deep in the playoffs. And
yeah,
I think that's 5, maybe 6 if the Mets play
well. But picture this for a second. Just open up the brain a little bit. Mets somehow make the World Series, Game 7. Yeah. They're winning 3-2 over the Yankees. Look who's trotting out of the bullpen to close it out. It's Kodai Senga.
I mean, they're not ruling out Senga, so
they haven't. They've suspiciously not taught. After he came out of his AAA rehab start, and they were like, "Oh, here's triceps, but he might not be done for the year." Suspiciously, you have not heard a peep, and not in a "oh, he is done for the year" way. In a.
What if he's the arm that they add to the roster?
That would be. Crazy.
I think he's going to be on the roster.
That would be crazy. I don't think he'd be on the roster.
That would be like.
The thing is, who else? They have no other pitching otherwise. It's
The only thing is,
that would be like John Cena coming out for Royal Rumble after.
It would be like last year when Diaz got injured, and everyone thought the Mets were gonna be good, but then they stunk. When people thought they were gonna be good, there were so many
Diaz could go back for the playoffs.
In September in a huge game, nobody knows Diaz is active, and then suddenly the trumpets go off and Diaz comes out of the game to close a huge win in September that. That's what I'm imagining with Senga. But the thing is, Senga's already said that he can't come out of the bullpen. He's got to start.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
I think the most similar thing is Mets Padres Game 7. Kodai Senga's trotting out of the bullpen to start the game.
Trumpets.
If you're the Padres, I'd be like, "Yo, what the fuck? What do we do here?" I mean, Senga in his one start this year completely embarrassed the Braves. He's gonna be good if he pitches.
Yeah.
But but to that point, let's finish up with this comment from Chris Bernhard. why did Kodai choose this year to make it Jacob deGrom?
So Sean Manaea could rise.
So Sean Manaea could rise, but also, you know what else Jacob deGrom would do? Shove in a big playoff game.
He's that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
He
He's
is,
that
but
guy.
then you wouldn't see him for like 3 more years.
Well, you wouldn't see him for 3 years, and
That's
then he would,
fine.
you know, he'd go off to Texas so that he can be with his Republican buddies. But you know, that's besides the point.
Speaking of that, I just saw the funniest string of Jared Seidler tweets, just like him reacting to games. To the game
Oh yeah,
today.
he was
The
going
one.
wild.
Did you see the one like he's like, oh, like the one that like the Hillary victory parade or something like that?
Yeah, that was that's called staff
Yeah.
posting.
Staff posting. How's he doing? I love his
Richard
stuff.
Staff. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's got a podcast, but he doesn't really tweet anymore. He's got a podcast with Trevor what's his name, Hildebrand, and Sean Doolittle.
Hildeberger or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good podcast. But
Yeah.
I want to say congrats on making the playoffs. Like in all seriousness, like with everything that y'all had to go through, and literally Lindor like dying basically at the end of the year, like
Right.
this is
Yeah.
a significant accomplishment.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's going to be started something fun, regardless of what happens. Like this is the most parity I can remember in league. It might just be because like the league isn't like Major League Baseball isn't as like star power anymore, and like these teams aren't as built up. But like I don't know, like it's gonna be fun. I think you're gonna, you know, there's gonna be at least one super surprise out of this wild card series. I think maybe it's the Mets. And I don't think that'd be a big surprise because the Brewers like don't really.
No, I mean, yeah, people kind of expect the Brewers to
Wild
choke,
card
and I think just like vibes based, a lot of people are going to pick the Mets.
Yeah, but vibes
If you
matter.
wanna-
Vibes matter.
Every other matchup might be a sweep. So like, you know, which is common for these wild card series, 3-game series. Obviously, it's easy for it to be a sweep. But
Also, like Stearns going back to Milwaukee and beating his
Yeah.
former team.
Yeah.
Like he's coming home to his hometown team, and
Yep.
then goes back to Milwaukee and just beats them. That's a great story. There's so many. This is a good story postseason. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot going. I'm not just saying that as a you know sold out network guy, but like it works.
Yeah.
It totally works.
So, yeah, I mean, and you know, the Yankees. I know it was kind of odd, but they had a great year, and I think they've got
Yeah, it's weird.
good.
It's a weird great
They've
year.
got a good setup for themselves in the AL. Just because, again, I don't think any team is good. You know,
It's so funny because everyone outside of like Yankeeverse like is so high on the Yankees. Like I like go into work and I'm like hearing how like everyone is so crazy. Fangraphs has them as like 38% chance of like making the World Series.
yeah, right.
Like
Some of
none of it
the-
makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no, it is
But-
funny.
Yeah,
I just see
if
all
they
your
come out in
guys-
the
Yeah.
if they come out in the DS and just dominate, like I'll be all in. But
Yeah.
I don't believe it until I see it.
The thing is, I know you're gonna say this is BS for the postseason, but like they have the best player.
Yeah, but that player has not shown up in the postseason. So,
I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
the best postseason player is not on the Yankees. It's probably
Nonetheless, no, yeah, the best postseason players on the Astros for sure. But
Jordan? We're talking about Jordan?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
Jordan.
Yeah.
yeah.
But the best clutch player is on the Mets, and that's Francisco Lindor.
Oh, I
For
thought you were
once.
going to say Brendan Nemo.
No,
Brandon-
Or Pete. Pete.
Brandon,
I feel like
No, it's
Pete's going to
not
have a
Pete.
moment, man. Pete's going to have a moment. And
If
he's
Pete-
going to win back the entire fan base.
he is physically incapable of having a moment.
If Pete has a moment, if Pete has a moment, I would be shocked. I expect Pete to go over. Like that's how. Like
Yeah.
I don't. He's gonna go like 0 for 8 with like
It's
a
going to be
walk.
funny when Pete has a moment and then we go to the Yankee side and Verdugo has a moment for the Yankees. And
That seems impossible.
And then everybody
Well-
gets re-signed and everybody's happy.
no, nobody would be happy. I don't know. I don't know. But if Verdugo's trotting out there as the left fielder in game 1, I'm going to be so
Ugh,
mad.
well. All right, let's sign off with this. First of all, again, just Max, Padres over Astros, right?
Padres over Astros, yes.
Tyrese, Yankees over Mets, and then I
Yep.
had Padres over Yankees. We'll see what happens. But all I'll say is if the Mets do make the World Series, it's ending right before the election. So, expect Brandon Nimmo to be hot because boy doesn't he win.
Wait. Before we sign off, is this hot stretch been since the second assassination attempt?
Yes.
Look, election year Brandon Nimmo is going strong because
That's
he's
crazy.
hitting homers. He's hitting homers ever since.
He's pimping homers, dude. Like
Yeah.
Brendan Nimmo never pimps.
Right.
Yeah,
He's,
he pimped one today. I was shocked.
he literally watched a homer yesterday.
He pimped a
Or
homer today and
Yeah,
stuck
he
out
watched
his
a homer
tongue.
today. He didn't run. He
He
watched it.
run. He
Yeah.
made. He was like, he started talking to Michael Harris. I was like,
You know
what is getting into him?
You know what he was thinking is he said that's for DJT right there. That homer's
Oh, I
for
thought you were about
DJT.
to say
Yeah.
like, he thought he was the Burger King man or something like that.
No.
Let's go, Brandon.
No, let's go,
Let's
Brandon.
go,
That's all I have
Brandon.
to
It's
say.
real.
You know, like we all know that Brandon's going to be thinking, if the Mets don't win the World Series and if my boy doesn't win on November 5th,
2025.
where are my
everybody
rights
feels-
as a man going to be?
Brandon
What
Nimmo
will he
MVP.
be in? Brandon Nimmo, he's going to be concerned and he's going to be playing hard. So let's hope the Mets make the World Series so that he can do it. All right. Well, on that note, thanks, Max, and thanks, Tyrese, for joining me tonight. This was fun. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Kind of, I know, very rare for us to do an MLB pod, but, you know, we really want Mets Yankees both made the World Series. Mets Yankees both made the playoffs, so we had to talk about it. We'll see what happens. And, you know, maybe if Tyrese is right, we'll do this again right before the World Series when we're all, like, on the verge of puking. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's gonna be a long.
Anyway, thanks again, everybody. I am Matt Marty Wampier. I'm actually going to introduce myself at the beginning of the pod. So if you're listening to this tomorrow, well, now you just found out who I am. But that said, thanks again, everyone. We will maybe we'll talk to you soon. Go Mets, go Yankees. Let's see how October goes. Good night, everybody.